It's happening. You're about to witness a shift that's being overlooked by many. But you're the one it's coming for. Right now, as you're watching this, the moon is actively shifting into Gemini's field. And this is the kind of shift that doesn't wait for you to be ready. You're not just witnessing this shift, you're in the middle of it, and it's already rearranging what you tolerate, what you entertain, and what you allow near your mind. This is the moment you start feeling the difference between being expensive and being free, a contrast you can't ignore once Gemini gets involved. And once you see what Gemini uncovers next, you'll understand why being too available has been draining you more than anything else. People don't talk about this part. The moon shifts into Gemini, and suddenly, the universe holds up a mirror you can't avoid. You've been too accessible, too available, and too easy to reach. And this might be setting you behind. Not because you're weak, but because energy that is free gets treated like it has no value. This shift isn't asking you to be cold, arrogant, or above anyone. It's asking you to stop letting people extract from you and start becoming someone people invest in. Being expensive doesn't mean you disappear. It means you become intentional with who gets access, when, and why. It's empowerment without ego. For the next 48 hours, you need to do something most people will never even attempt: a conversation fast. Not silence, but selective silence. This means you speak when it's necessary, meaningful, intentional. Not just because someone wants access to you. You don't shut yourself down, and you don't isolate. You simply become more thoughtful about what you say, who you speak to, and what you allow into your mental space. This works because Gemini rules communication. And when the moon moves into that field, every word becomes a frequency. The less you say, the clearer you become. Suddenly you're not reacting, you're perceiving, you're not over-explaining, you're observing. And people around you feel this shift instantly. When you pull back your words, your presence becomes louder. This is the kind of silence that recalibrates your direction without you even realizing it. Think of it like this: your voice gains value the moment you stop giving it away freely. This next window is where your intuition sharpens, not because the universe speaks louder, but because you stop drowning it out. And once you begin to see what your silence reveals about the people around you, you'll understand why this shift was never about talking less. It was about hearing more. And that clarity, it sets you up for something nobody is prepared for, not even the people who claim to be energy aware. There's something unfolding right now that most people won't recognize until it's already reshaping their lives. Energetic inflation. Not the economic kind. This is spiritual, personal, internal. It's the moment when a soul's value increases the same way a rare item suddenly becomes priceless overnight. The Gemini moon is the catalyst for this. It inflates clarity, communication, identity, and the awareness you have of yourself. And here's the trick. Once your clarity rises, your energy becomes something people can't just pick up and play with anymore. Clarity makes you rare. Rarity makes you valuable. As your thoughts sharpen, your boundaries naturally sharpen too. As your self-awareness becomes high definition, your presence becomes premium. People can feel the difference in how you move, speak, and respond. They can sense that something about you is no longer easily accessible. This is the shift where you stop being the person everyone can just grab energetically. You're no longer the one offering endless emotional support. endless attention, endless reassurance. You become the one people have to approach with intention because your energy finally has shape, weight, and identity. Think of this phase like a sudden rise in your spiritual stock price. The universe marks you as rare, and everything around you responds accordingly. Because now, you're not sitting on a clearance rack waiting to be chosen. You've become something people recognize, pursue, and respect for what it is, not for what they can take. And now, I welcome you to today's comment highlight of the day. Whenever you level up in life, friendships disappear, relationships vanish, but clarity and peace return. There's a trade-off people don't talk about enough. Growth isn't just gaining, sometimes it's outgrowing. And that can feel lonely before it feels freeing. Not everyone is meant to meet the version of you that comes next, but the peace that replaces the noise, that's usually confirmation you're moving in the right direction. Appreciate you sharing this truth. The next part of this Gemini window is where most people misunderstand themselves. They feel their identity stretching, bending, loosening its edges, and they panic because they think it means something is wrong. But this shift isn't bringing confusion, it's bringing exploration. Gemini energy opens doors that were locked for months, and suddenly you can feel every version of yourself that you've ignored, suppressed, or postponed, asking to step forward and be seen. You might notice yourself entertaining ideas you never let yourself explore. You might feel drawn to paths you once considered unrealistic or not for someone like you. You might even feel like you're carrying multiple potential futures in your mind at once, each one tugging at you with its own curiosity. And instead of resisting that, this is the moment where you're meant to lean in. This is not chaos. This is expansion. Your mind isn't losing direction, it's gaining dimension. The part of you that used to live inside a single storyline is suddenly realizing that there are other chapters available, and that you don't have to stay trapped in the same identity just because you've worn it for years. Your identity isn't breaking, it's breathing. Think of it like trying on different outfits before a milestone event. None of them are wrong, and none of them are permanent. You're simply exploring what feels most aligned with who you're becoming. Gemini gives you permission to experiment, to see yourself from angles you didn't know existed. For some people, this shows up as a shift in personality. For others, it's a shift in goals, behaviors, cravings, or values. But the message is the same across all forms. You are not unstable for wanting something new. You are not inconsistent for discovering new sides of yourself. You're evolving into a version of you that can actually hold the things you've been praying for. This flexibility is your superpower right now. It means you're not rigid. It means you're not stuck. It means you're not locked into an outdated identity that can't carry your future. You're in a phase where the universe is letting you rehearse who you might become before you fully step into it. And there's something important about this state, something most people completely overlook. This fluid identity comes with a signal, and the people who ignore it end up crashing into themselves harder than they expect. As the moon moves deeper into Gemini's mental field, there's a trap many people fall into without realizing it. They get so caught up in the mental expansion, the new ideas, the sudden clarity, the rapid shifts, the flexibility of identity, that they disconnect from their physical needs entirely. This is when you start skipping meals without noticing. You forget to drink water. You stay awake even when you feel your body begging for rest. And because Gemini overstimulates the mind, you don't recognize these signs as grounding signals. You treat them like background static. But this is the moment where your physical body becomes your stabilizer. You can't navigate an air-driven shift like Gemini without grounding yourself, or else your thoughts spiral faster than your body can keep up. Your intuition gets sharper in this phase, yes, but your physical foundation becomes more important than ever. You don't need to do anything extreme. You simply need to respect your physical limits so your mind has something solid to land on. Eat properly. Hydrate consistently. Sleep when your body asks you to. These aren't chores, they're energetic anchors. They keep you from floating into mental overstimulation or emotional overstretching. Gemini energy is incredible when balanced, but when ignored, it becomes too airy, too fast, too abstract. Your mind can only expand safely when your body feels supported. And here's the truth nobody mentions. When you ignore this signal, the consequences don't show up subtly. You feel it immediately. You feel the mental fog. You feel the sudden emotional swings. You feel the burnout disguised as inspiration. You feel the crash of overstimulation right when you are about to break through. Your body is trying to work with the shift, not against it. It's giving you cues, gentle ones, so the mental clarity you're gaining doesn't overwhelm you. This is not the moment to disconnect from yourself. It's the moment to anchor deeper, so your mind can rise higher without pulling you into exhaustion. Because as this shift intensifies, you're going to notice something powerful emerge. A change not just in your mind or your emotions, but in how others respond to you and what your energy begins to attract next. One of the biggest misunderstandings that shows up during this Gemini shift is the idea that becoming expensive means becoming cold, distant, or suddenly thinking you're above everyone else. But that's not what this energy is pushing you toward at all. If anything, this shift is asking you to operate from the opposite place. Being expensive is not about ego, it's about care. It's about finally giving yourself the same level of kindness, patience, and respect that you've been pouring into other people without hesitation. For so long, you've extended yourself without checking whether you even had the capacity. You've been loving, supportive, generous, and present, even in moments when you were tired, emotionally drained, or silently hoping someone would show you the same care in return. This shift isn't telling you to stop being the good-hearted person you are. It's showing you that your goodness isn't the problem. The lack of boundaries around it is. Being expensive simply means you stop abandoning yourself while showing up for others. It means you stop making yourself small to keep the peace, or available to keep the connection. It means you no longer sacrifice your energy for people who treat it like it's replaceable. And most importantly, it means you no longer apologize for needing rest, space, time, or emotional room to breathe. Value isn't built by being distant. It's built by finally being fair to yourself. You can still be loving. You can still be generous. You can still support the people you care about. The difference now is that you're choosing to give from a place that doesn't cost you your well-being. You're no longer draining yourself to make sure no one else feels uncomfortable. You're no longer overextending yourself to be the strong one or the reliable one at your own expense. This shift is about balance. The balance between compassion and self-respect, between helping others and honoring yourself. And the moment you begin embodying this, the universe responds in a very specific way. People around you begin to react differently because the energy you carry becomes less scattered, less diluted, and far more intentional. And this leads directly into the next phase, the Gemini mirror. The moment you step into your worth, the people around you reveal exactly where they stand. This moon phase doesn't just show you who you are, it reveals who they are. It exposes motives, patterns, attitudes, and dynamics that were easy to overlook when you were more available, more flexible, more forgiving, and more accessible. And this is where the idea of becoming expensive truly shows its purpose. Because the moment your worth rises, your environment automatically shifts. You don't change the crowd, you reveal it. The people around you begin to show their true relationship with your energy, and suddenly everything becomes clear. Some people will rise with you. They'll match your new boundaries, respect your time, honor your space, and value your presence without hesitation. These are the people who are meant to be in your life because their respect was never conditional. Others will quietly exit, not because they're bad people, but because free access was their only point of interest. Once you stopped making yourself emotionally cheap, the convenience disappeared, and so did they. Gemini energy makes these exits feel clean rather than painful. It's not abandonment, it's alignment. Then there are those who try to negotiate your worth. They'll test you, question your boundaries, minimize your needs, or pretend not to understand the shift happening within you. They're not responding to who you are now. They're reacting to the loss of the version of you that always made things easy for them. And finally, there's the rare group, the select few who recognize your new frequency instantly. They don't need explanations, warnings, or repeated boundaries. They've grown too, and they're ready to meet you exactly where you stand. These people aren't threatened by your evolution, they're inspired by it. Elevation doesn't change people, it reveals them. This entire phase is not about drama, conflict, or emotional turbulence. It's filtration. It's the universe helping you curate a life where your energy is matched, not misused. It's a hopeful shift that replaces imbalance with clarity and replaces one-sided connections with ones that uplift you instead of draining you. As you step deeper into this alignment, you begin to realize something powerful. This Gemini shift isn't just rearranging your relationships, it's positioning you for the chapter where your value finally becomes visible, undeniable, and respected by everyone who remains. Some people think that during an air-heavy transit like this, you need to think harder, analyze more, or figure things out before they slip away. But the Gemini moon doesn't work like that. This is one of the rare windows where the universe does half the work for you. Instead of pushing, planning, or stressing about your next step, you're meant to let information find its way to you naturally. This energy moves through conversations, messages, small coincidences, unexpected interactions, and even mundane moments. You might overhear someone say something that answers a question you've been holding. You might see a sentence online that instantly gives you clarity. You might receive a text that redirects your entire day. You might even have an insight while doing something completely ordinary, cleaning, showering, waiting, walking. Gemini has a way of delivering answers when your mind is relaxed enough to receive them. You're not supposed to chase clarity right now, you're supposed to stay open to it. And if you're still here, still watching, thank you. This Gemini shift is reshaping how you value yourself, how you speak, how you connect, and how you protect your energy. And even if the changes feel subtle or strange or uncertain, trust that they're pushing you toward a version of you that finally honors your worth. You don't have to rush this. You don't have to perform for anyone. You don't have to keep giving parts of yourself away to stay loved.